Hello, everyone. Welcome into Above My Pay Grade. My name is Eric. Back in the seat. Hope you all had a great week. I had a very nice, relaxing, no internet. I always like to watch financial news and all that. I didn't have any of that, and it was nice and relaxing vacation. So thanks for sticking around at the channel. But I'm back in the seat, and I did have a lot of time to do some thinking. And as I've said on this channel before, people can look at a problem and they can listen to people pontificate, the politicians pontificate, and economics, I by no means understand it. I'm at it like a first grade level compared to a lot of people on YouTube. But I do like to take, as much as I can, because I'm a dum-dum, a complicated subject and speak to the layperson. That would be me, or the plebes, who want it spoken in plain English. And in plain English, we don't really have three options as a country right now. We have massive debt, and just like if you had personal massive debt, you'd have some issues, right? And you could potentially earn your way out of it. The way the government earns their way out of it is by a massive GDP boost or a massive boost in productivity in the United States. That's through technology, taking away regulation, etc. And so I've said before, as George Gammon says, and I'm fond of repeating, there are no certainties, there's only probabilities. But of these three options, you have to decide what you think is most probable. So a massive boost in GDP, which requires the government to be more hands-off with their regulation, especially when it comes to green energy and fossil fuel usage and all that kind of stuff. You can decide if you think that's going to happen. I don't think so. Cutting back on spending, which is, mass amounts of our spending, is military, entitlements, Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, and interest on our debt. In a world that is becoming more dangerous, more polarized globally, do you think we're going to cut back on military spending? I don't know. I doubt that. So that leaves entitlements, which is the lion's share of our budget. And all three of those take up all of our tax receipts. Every single dollar of our tax receipts goes to Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid, debt payments, and the military. That's not all of the federal budget. There's a ton more. The Department of Energy, you got the Department of Education, you got all that other stuff. And how do we fund those? Deficits. So the government would have to cut back on spending. That's option number 2. Probably not going to happen. It's not really politically palatable until the pain comes, unfortunately. You tell baby boomers that they're cutting Social Security, probably not going to vote for you. I would sell it, if I was a politician, a lot differently. I just show the math and I say, you decide. We'll pay you Social Security if you want it, but it's just going to buy you less. We'll pay you what we owe you, but it's just going to buy you less. Or we can cut it, but it's just not politically palatable. Option number 3, which I think is the most probable, is printing. So, do I think inflation's here to stay? The answer is yes. Will it go up and down? Probably. But is it here to stay? Yeah. And I think you should invest accordingly. Now, why I think that's the most probable is politicians do the most expedient thing and the most politically palatable thing, and that's something they can do and kind of push the problem off to the next politician, the next 4-year reign of whoever it is. But second and third order effects of option 3 being taken is what happened in 1934. 1934 was the height of the Great Depression. And I didn't know this, I didn't learn this in school, but through educating myself on economics, I learned about the Reserve Act of 1934. So Franklin Delano Roosevelt made holding gold illegal because they wanted to control the money supply a lot easier. So if you're holding gold bullion or gold coins, they didn't know how much money was out there. And so they wanted a central bank, a central place to hold all that gold. And so they made holding gold privately illegal, which is unconstitutional because you cannot just confiscate government or private property without giving somebody the proper, what am I thinking? Without compensating them correctly. Sorry, I'm a little lost in my words today. Without compensating them correctly. So did they compensate people? They gave them approximately $20 an ounce and immediately raised the price to $35 an ounce, therefore giving the Treasury way more money, about $2.8 billion worth of more money since gold was money. So that was kind of our first default on gold being the reserve currency or having a gold-backed currency, because they made holding gold illegal. And what does that do? When it concentrates all that money at the Treasury from 1934 to 1971, we were printing way more money than we had gold. And and Franklin Delano Roosevelt, in a way, demonized gold holders. And a lot of countries do this. They make the next best option illegal. Look at Turkey. Turkey right now is making purchasing in dollars illegal. Why is that? Because if they're going to get their way out of a debt problem, they can't have people running away from the currency. They need that to use that currency. They need the inflation. They have to have people using currency. If there was a black market, a secondary market, and everyone's like, okay, F this, I'm not using dollars anymore. I'll just use Bitcoin, or I'll use gold, bullion, which I don't think would happen, but whatever people would want to use that's better than the dollar, that holds its value even better. In Turkey, that was the dollar. In a lot of developing countries, they run to another currency that's more stable. And oftentimes that's the dollar. And those countries' leaders make holding those dollars illegal. So what would happen in the United States? Would we make holding gold illegal again? I don't put anything past politicians, but I am wary of politicians playing the blame game, because that's just what politicians do. So as inflation gets worse and they take option 3, and it's their own darn fault, not just this administration, every administration before them did it too, just added to the debt pile. But as it gets more severe and we have gas prices going down because Joe Biden is, raiding our oil reserves, and then they skyrocket back up this winter, and then inflation goes through the roof, and people start to realize it's not going away. Okay, all they're getting is lip service. They're just getting, yeah, inflation's going down, gas prices are going down, yada yada yada, and they don't believe their lying eyes. They see that gas is still high. They see grocery prices going up, and they start to think to themselves, and maybe they have no economic background whatsoever, they start to think to themselves, hold on a second. Next year, this might be double what it is today. And therefore, inflation is this like self-fulfilling prophecy. People keep buying more, and inflation gets worse, yada, yada, yada. And the thing is, people want to go somewhere else for their purchasing power. So in America, that might be gold, silver, Bitcoin. And watch for politicians to start going, hey, you know what's actually causing this inflation? It's people not using dollars. Because when people don't use dollars, they also don't buy treasuries. And treasuries, if you recall, I've said it on this channel before, the government debt is all treasuries that they've sold in the past. And all the interest on those treasuries is fairly low. The interest rate's fairly low. But if people don't want to buy those treasuries because inflation's through the roof, the interest rate has to go up. And so if people don't want to buy treasuries, and they go, you know what, instead of buying a treasury, I'm going to buy gold. I'm going to buy Bitcoin. You know what that's going to do to treasury interest rates? Through the roof. You know what that's going to do to the government budget? It's going to go up. Government expenditures are going to go through the roof as well, which causes, you guessed it, inflation, because they have to print it. So watch for the demonization, because I think it's coming. They run out of options to blame people, and so they start looking internally. And the people who saw it coming years before and were getting on the lifeboat, that's going to cause more inflation, because people don't want to buy treasuries. There's not going to be a market for it, and government's going to start blaming them, unfortunately, like they did in 1934. So if they did it then, what's to say they won't do it again? Let me know what you think in the comments below. It's good to be back. See you guys in the next one. Peace.